Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Red Maris YouTube channel. You join me today in Brittany and playing as the man, the myth, the legend, Jarl Haesteinn. And I have a plan today. Now you might ask, what is that plan? And I will tell you. So I am going to Varangian Adventure all the way down to Sri Lanka, about as far away from Jarl Haesteinn as we could possibly get. Now, on the way, I'm gonna do a bit of sightseeing. I think I'm gonna visit the world. I'm in a summery mood, and I think I'm going on my holidays. So what we're gonna do is try and visit Spain, Italy, the Byzantines, Egypt, and let's say somewhere in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia sort of area as well. So we're just in luck. Down the strategist tree here, we've already got Bellum Justin, which means our cassus belli cost is down by 50%, meaning when we go and look at Al-Andalus and we go and look to declare war, instead of costing about a billion prestige to declare war, it only costs 500. So that's going to make things a lot easier when we're doing multiple of these wars along the Mediterranean. So, because I'm rolling in gold, and who needs gold when you can have big hairy Vikings with axes? We're going to get ourselves some Varangian veterans. Should make life a lot easier when we're battling with the Spanish in 2 seconds. So here we are, we're on our way to Spain. We're going to enjoy the sun, we're going to enjoy the sea, we're going to have a nice old holiday, and we're going to conquer Seville. We're not going to mess around. We're going to go straight up the river here. We're going to land in his capital, and hopefully this war should be over very quickly. And we'll be settling down into our new home in Seville, ready to push on for our next conquest in Italy. So here we are. We found ourselves in Seville. We've landed. We've sieged down his capital, and we are throwing ourselves at his castles. One by one, we're bringing him to the negotiating table, and we will take the Duchy of Seville. Our war cry as we plunder the Spanish countryside, Una cerveza, por favor, amigo. So one of the reasons I settled for the Duchy of Seville is we've got this wonderful special building here, the Rock of Gibraltar. Should rightfully be in British hands, of course, but let's settle for Norse for the minute. So we get fort level, and there's defender advantage as well as development growth, which everybody loves. Unfortunately, we're not going to be sticking around long enough to enjoy that. And we've also got some stewardship and diplo range, so perfect for what we're wanting right now, really. So we have sieged down his capital, and we have sieged down the entirety of the Duchy of Seville, as you can see, and we are looking at his army coming into our newly occupied territory. And there's only one possible answer for that, and that is our crushing him in battle. And that should happen any second now, if people stop bothering me. There we go. Should be a complete rout. Perfect. They never knew what hit them. 100%. So we've had a little pop-up where now we've won that war, we're involved in the Iberian struggle. I could read all of that, but also I could piss off again in a few months' time. So let's just say that's not my problem. So we're going to sponsor a whale hunt, just trying to raise a bit of money. We've only got 1,237. That's not nearly enough. Oh dear. Well, we only had a 79% chance, so that definitely shouldn't have happened. Anyway, world's a bastard, so we'll keep on plugging along. So we've got a bit of a worrying turn of events here. We could end up being a berserker. Let me fetch my bear pelt. I think it's fitting that the man who's pillaging his way across the Mediterranean should become a berserker, but it could lead to some pretty disastrous consequences. And we are a berserker. Is that a good thing? I guess we'll wait and see. So I've wounded someone. Just one person, though. A load of stress. That's all right. I'll take that. I'll take that. And what does any good Viking do when he gets stressed? He goes to the whorehouse. While we're here in Spain, why not hop across the Pillars of Hercules and enjoy what Tangiers has to offer? I'm sure they're welcome as well. So our little excursion in the Maghreb was going very well. We're making a lot of money. We're building up that prestige so we can go and continue to do our Varangian adventures. But clearly, as you can see, something's not quite gone well. So we're going to get ourselves a physician. Hopefully they're not useless. Here we go. Oh, excellent. 25 gold for an excellent. Yeah. We should be fine. Should be fine. So I don't know what this is going to do, but it could be fun. Not done it before. Apparently we can demolish the idol of Cadiz, which by the sounds of it is a some ancient tower of sorts in Cadiz. We're going to lose prestige, which means it's probably not the best idea for what we're trying to do here, but when I see a button, I want to press the button. So here we go. So we're going to knock it down. We get a bunch of gold, and whatever happens here... Oh, well, never mind. So the next stop in our tour through the Mediterranean is going to be to visit the Holy Father, Pope Nicholas. I'm sure he'll be glad to see us. Seems fitting for Jarl Haesteinn to find himself in Rome itself. Visit the Colosseum, eat some pizza, drink some lovely wine. Some more stereotypes for you there. So here we are, we've just landed in the port city of Ostia, marching our way into the ancient and glorious city of Rome. And the Pope is very sensibly pissed off. He knows what's best for him. The only problem with sieging down Rome is it's going to take about 300 years, but I'm a patient man. So it turns out when I said I'm a patient man, I'm a liar. We're just going to go and crush his army and hope we capture somebody. This is going to be a very easy battle. As you can see, everyone's getting slaughtered. Well, not everyone, just them. So, luckily for Pope Nicholas, he's died of old age. Very, very lucky man. Very fortunate at this time where he's got 4,000, well, 3,600 Viking berserkers at his gates that he's chosen this time to die of old age. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, Rome has fallen. And unfortunately, we're on 99% war score. I would invite him just to give up. But how many men are going to have to die here to get us up to 100%? I guess we're going to find out. If I was Pope Honorius, I would have maybe just packed it in there instead of losing 1,800 men for the sake of one war score. Bad news, ladies and gentlemen, they're on to us. Rome, the city of St. Peter and the very seat of the papacy itself, has fallen to infidels. Myself, that is. So, we are potentially going to be on the end of a crusade. Little do they know, the second they do that, I am going to disappear. So we're going to be all right. So, because it would put a massive spanner in the works if I were to suddenly die at this point, I've gone down the medicine focus, trying to make ourselves a bit more resilient. Don't fancy dying of old age. So I'm fortunate enough that I found a young Edith here. A fantastic name. More importantly, she is a genius. So that's enough to persuade me to marry her off to my son, who is 14 years old. So in a couple of years' time, he can go on and hopefully have some genius grandchildren for me. So while he does have a few more troops than us, I think it's time we go and visit Basilius Basilios of the Byzantine Empire. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, that one, I'm afraid. We've had Rome, and I think we It's about time we go and visit its successor. We want Constantinople, the city of the world's desire. Got a lovely cathedral, got some lovely walls, and I think everything in the world would be a bit better if it was mine, basically. So if we go to mercenaries and we scroll down to the bottom, because I'm loaded. Yeah, you guys, and yeah, what about them guys? Some Bavarians. You can never go wrong with some Bavarians. 4,500 should do it, maybe. Possibly overkill, but overkill isn't a bad thing, maybe? I don't know. So, my plan is I will go and siege on my own over here in Brysis, something like that, and we'll let all our mercenaries sit on Constantinople and siege that famously easy city to siege. I'm sure they will have no trouble at all, and it will go incredibly well. Now, I did think this might happen. Yeah, they're attacking. Hopefully, I haven't screwed this up, and we'll be able to reinforce in time. But I guess we're going to find out quite quickly. So we did just get there in time, as you can see, and we are maybe going to win. Oh, now that is really important. You told me that immediately, right in the middle of an important battle. Thank you. But there we go. Good job. We did get all those mercenaries because without that, we would have lost, I think. So while our troops recover a little bit, I'm going to move them off Constantinople because to siege down Constantinople, we need all of our men. And I have screwed up again. This is what you get when you divide your armies and move them around without paying attention. Can we escape? No, we cannot. Oh dear. Oh, so I didn't talk then because I thought we were going to lose, but we have actually, we did actually reinforcing time. So I'm going to learn my lessons and I am going to keep my army as one unit and just see if we can avoid major disaster for the minute. So here we go. Our son has fulfilled his duty and put a bun in the oven of his wife Edith, or more than that. He's done the 9 months, and we've got a child, and she's a genius. So I'm very happy. So this is turning into a bit of a war of attrition, and as you can see, we lost those mercenaries that we had hired. So we're in a bit of a pickle at the minute. Thankfully, it looks like he's got himself into another war. The Duke of Epirus in a liberty war. So that's very fortunate for us. And once we siege this down, I might go and visit his capital again. But I don't think we're in a position to do that right this second. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think it would be quite that easy, but since he had that liberty war, we've managed to wrap things up pretty quickly. And it only took about 1,000 gold and probably 20,000 men's lives, but a small detail, as we have got the city of the world's desire. Why on God's green earth is Brysis our capital when Constantinople is sat right here? I do not understand. Now, interestingly, I sort of assumed that when I left Rome, that somehow it would find its way back into the hands of the Pope. But no, we have a Count of Rome here that everyone's just left alone for some unknown reason, despite having the most valuable city, well, one of the most valuable cities in the game. So we're off raiding again. We need 2,000 prestige before we can declare our next war for Egypt. And so we're going to go and try and make a bit of money, try and make a bit of prestige. And I mean, I hate raiding. It's definitely not fun. So, it's a real shame we've got to do this again. But hey ho, off we go. I think we're on our way to Venice this time. They famously rich, of course. So let's see if we can make a bit of cash while we're over here. So these peasants don't seem to know who they're messing with because they've decided to rebel against us. It is a pretty poor decision by any accounts. And just to illustrate my point, we're now known as Jarl Haesteinn the Bloody. I mean that was pretty amazing timing that actually. So our next target is the ancient kingdom of Egypt, no longer ruled by pharaohs, but by Sultan al-Abbas ibn Ahmed. I'm sure I've gotten that wrong, but I had a try at it at least, I suppose. So we've got a few options when we go to Egypt, a few tasty little duchies we could go for. We could go for the fertile Nile Delta, would be interesting. Alexandria with its lighthouse and its burned down library. Or we could go for the capital of Cairo, I think it's still the capital maybe, and the lovely, lovely pyramids, which I think is our only real option because what is a trip to Egypt without a visit to the pyramids? Now, I've got a sneaking suspicion this might actually be our easiest war yet because they're currently, I think describing them as a dumpster fire would be generous, let's say. This is all going very easily. We've sieged down the pyramids. I don't know if we've actually sieged down the pyramid itself. That seems a little counterproductive. But we've occupied it, let's say. And we've got the hair of Mohammed. I don't know why we would want that, but yeah, I guess we've got it. So what do we want to go for here? I think Seawolves, just because it's fun. We get more prestige, which is going to become even more of a problem now because we're going to end up needing a bit ton of prestige for our next Varangian adventure. So that will come in handy. Here we go, a Leviathan. We've not gone specifically for a whale hunt this time. This one it's just popped up, and we've got an 88% chance at 100 gold. I do like those chances. I'm a gambling man, and it's paid off. So there we go, we've sieged down Alexandria, and that is the war won 100%. We're going to gain a ton more gold. We're now up to almost 4,000. Only slight problem here is now that we've lost the city of Constantinople, which was basically our major money spinner. So we're not going to be making money at quite the rate we were, but still, I shouldn't complain. We've got 4,000 in the bank. So, unfortunately, if we look down at the Horn of Africa and Ethiopia, it's basically a massive clusterfuck, which I have no interest in. I don't have any interest in attacking the Abbasids because look at them, they're a monster. 10,500 troops. We're not going to be able to do that from one duchy. So, if we look at the Yahmad Emirate, I don't know why I put on that. That was a bit. I put a bit extra on that. That was a bit strange, but they're nice. What is this? Yemen or Oman? I can never remember which one is which. And from there, we can either drop into northern India or we can head on straight to our final destination, Sri Lanka. So we are in a little bit of a pickle here, and we're being attacked by the Shaibanid Emirate. He has 6,500 troops, and looking at that number in the corner there, just in case you weren't aware, 2,500 is significantly less. But what they haven't counted in is that I have 3,900 gold. And with that 3,900 gold, I am going to go and visit my friends. Dun, dun, dun. My friends in the Army of the Crossing. It's a fantastic name, that actually. So we'll have them. We'll have one of them. And while we're at it, we'll have one of them. So it looks like we're going to be able to catch his army here before his allies reinforce him, hopefully. Or maybe not, they're faster than us. Never mind. Well, we'll head on to his capital, and if we're lucky, we'll capture someone, and this war will end before it ever began. Seems very fitting that we've taken a little bit of a detour here to siege down Jerusalem. Seems to fit in with the general vibe of the video, I suppose. We did get 100 gold from sieging that down, so that's nice problem to have, I guess. So we turned south just to try and catch his army before he sieged down Cairo. We failed massively, but we've got him now. And that should be the end of any significant threat from him. If we siege down Cairo again, I think that'll be the end of that war, and we can get back to the business at hand, which is, as you're well aware, farming prestige off poor countess around the Mediterranean. This is what happens when you don't play in Northern Europe. It all turns into a massive clusterfuck. I mean, just look at Scotland and Denmark and Norway. It's all, we'll all just, let's not worry about that whole mess. Let's stay down here where it's nice and warm and safe. So I'm not quite sure when that happened, but the Pope's, he's worked his problems out. He's negotiated with his landlord, and he's found himself back in the Vatican. And we're going to raid him again, just to remind him who's the boss. So we've raided Rome and we've hopped back to Cairo to drop off our 231 gold. And straight away, we're not even going to, well, we are going to unpack our bags. That's the only thing we are going to do. We're going to come straight back and siege down the Vatican. He thought he'd seen the last of me, and I'm afraid this is only the beginning. So, bad news, everybody. My wife is dead. She's only 60, though. I'm 80 and I'm still going strong, so I don't know why she's embarrassed herself there, really. That's pretty poor showing. Only 60 years old. So I'm going to marry myself off to the High Chiefess of Darfur because we get 100 prestige, and it appears that we could get our dynasty in the running down there if we can possibly have a child. We are quite old, so I won't hold on to anything, but you never know. So bad news, I have measles and so does my son. We'll go no more than what's necessary. Oh, so I think we're doing all right there. We had successful treatment, as did our son. But I don't want to waste any more time. We have the necessary prestige, so we're going to push on and declare our next Varangian Adventure. We're going to cross, uh, pass. Oh, go away! I don't have any interest in that. We're going to push down past the Horn of Africa, past Mecca, through the Red Sea, and we're going to find ourselves attacking again. I don't know if it's Yemen or Oman. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. Um, that one, that's what we want. 2,500. I'm not entirely sure it's actually worth that. I don't know if the land's actually any use to anyone, but I want it, so I'm having it, is my response to my own query. And there we go, we've lost the measles, so that's good news for us. Thought that might be the end there, but we've done plugging along and we've done all right there, I think. So I think I'm going to go and try and siege down his capital here. I don't really fancy fighting him in the mountains. I know we'd win, but I don't want to take a load of casualties when we don't need to. So, as if conquering his way halfway across the world wasn't enough, I've had another son. Um, at the minute, I am, how old am I? 82-year-olds. I'm not going to cast any. I'm not going to judge other people's lives, but even if they're computer-generated people that I'm controlling. But 82 years old, maybe, have a word with yourself. You don't need to be having kids when you're 82. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've crushed his army once again, and that is 100%. And, oh god. Well, that is a slightly bigger duchy than I was expecting. So, I will, yeah, I will not complain about that. So we find ourselves in Oman. The only problem now is we are almost down to no prestige yet again. And we're going to need 3,000 for our next Varangian Adventure. So we're going to need to start building that up pretty sharpish. The good thing though is we find ourselves in the Indian Ocean with no shortage of riches and pickings around. I think we're going to work our way across the coast. We've got 3,000 men, so fingers crossed, we shouldn't have too much trouble with anyone we come across, really. I think I'm going to be a bit cheeky and raid the Abbasids here. We can make our way over to Mecca, and I'm hoping we'll be able to siege it down and take the loot before their considerable army finds its way to us. As you can see, 11,500 men is significantly more than anything I can muster. So we're in a position where we can have a hunt for free, so we would be daft not to. We'll go over there, get a desert fella and a mountain fella. That's the official title, I believe. And because it's free, I think it doesn't make any difference doing that, so yes. With any luck, this will make us a large amount of prestige, but we will see. We'll probably end up dying, which is I'm starting to get worried about dying because if you look, we are 85 years old. We are in fine health, so that's I'm not too worried about that for the minute, but it could very, very quickly go downhill. We are out hunting, as you can see, and we're after a hyena. And it is going fairly well at the minute. Well, 50-50 chance of success. I'm going to go for this more perilous option because I want the prestige, basically. If I die, I'm going to feel like a right idiot, but got to risk it for a biscuit. No, it didn't work anyway. Never mind. Thought it might be fun to go for a pilgrimage. Now, it's going to be significantly harder than it would be if I was still up in Northern Europe, but we're off to Kiev, whichever, whatever you want to call it. I've got a feeling this might be the death of me, but it's an impulse thing. So we're off on our pilgrimage. It's going to take 3 years to get there and back, and we are 86. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is I don't know. This is a very bad idea because there's a good chance I'm going to die before I get back, and then we're never going to make our way over to the Indian subcontinent. But thankfully, we do have good heirs, good families, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would not be good, put it that way. So I should have seen it coming. Well, I did really see it coming, but we're infirm. So this pilgrimage is a massive, massive waste of time and a terrible idea, basically, is what I'm saying. Here we are. We actually made it to Kiev in the end. We're a bit worse for wear, but we are here. Just about managed it. So we've had some bad news in that our son has died of cancer. He was our heir, unfortunately, but he was a fairly good heir. He wasn't excellent, but he was pretty good. So it's a shame to see him go. If I look at my heir now, he's slightly better. Probably a little, well, yeah, quite a bit better, let's say. So I'm not too worried. Because it's now looking more and more likely that I'm going to end up playing as my heir if I want to get to India, as I have, how old am I? Nope, wrong button. As I am 88 years old and infirm, so I don't think it's responsible anymore to go off raiding on my own. So we're going to send off 2 armies, one with my son, one with my grandson. That way we should be minimizing risk, at least that's the plan. So, if we look at Jarl Haesteinn, he is 80, oh, not even 80, ignore me, he's 91 years old. He's infirm, and as you can see, he's just had a daughter. Slightly concerning that we've had 40-year-old sons that have died of sickness, and we're still having children. So, here we are again, attempting to make a bit more prestige, this time through a tournament. All of these sites should be pretty crap. It's all mountain deserts, it's all rubbish basically, and we can only do one thing. What we're going to do? A bit of dueling maybe? So I nearly clicked right through this without paying any attention to what it is. But if you look at this, it's blah blah blah. Basically, this woman's flirting with me. So I can either seduce her or, well, give her a bit of a wink or tell her to bog off. Now, the unfortunate part of all of this is if you look at her, yes, that is my daughter and friend. Clearly, Jarl Haesteinn wants more than friends, but we're not gonna get too mucky today. So we're raiding our way up this river here. It's the Indus. I'm sure they never expected to find Viking raiders on their doorstep, but looks like they're challenging us here. A very interesting decision, let's put it that way. Yeah, that's about what they can expect from us. We've actually just unlocked the achievement Saints because, as you can see, we are a religious icon. The way we basically managed to do that was, if you look at Jarl Haesteinn here, kills. And basically all of these people were executed, and as you can get a load of piety as for executing people as Norse characters, that explains why. So we have one small problem. My initial plan was to go all the way down to Sri Lanka here, and I've actually made the thumbnail already, so that's what it's going to look like in the thumbnail. But we are too far away to interact with. So the closest we can get to Sri Lanka is here in Ratta, and there's a nice big duchy along the coast here. So that's what we're going to do, and we are going to pray and hope that we can find a way to scrounge up the 3,500 prestige we're going to need after this to go against Lambakna in Sri Lanka. We're going to pray we can still do that with Hæsteinn, But as he is 94 already, I don't know how realistic it's going to be to get another 3,500 prestige before he dies. But we will try. We will hope and we will try. But let's not worry about that right this second, because we are going to war and we're going to finally make our way over to India. So we've sieged down his capital and one of the counties in the duchy we're after. We're very close to completing the war. We're at 96%, but not quite there, obviously. So we're going to go back, crush his armies, and if that's not enough, then we'll go and head down and siege down one more county. It's just a matter of time at this point. So maybe this is just a sign of me not paying any attention, but as you can see, my daughter is she must have inherited this from my ex-wife, Darfur. Well, I say ex-wife, she died. It's not like we're divorced. But yeah, the Hæsteinn dynasty in the heart of Africa in Darfur. I'll pretend that was all deliberate and it's premeditated, but yeah, that's just something that happened. And there you go. That is 100% in the Varangian Adventure, and we are in India. We've come a long, long way, but we're here. So, because we're going to need 3,500 prestige to pull off our final Varangian adventure down to the island of Sri Lanka, we're going to go ahead and straight away do a horse sacrifice. We should get prestige. It won't be very much, but it's better than nothing, and we've got so much money that we don't need to worry about any of that. So here we are at our horse sacrifice, ready to kill Black Beauty. There we go. I think we got, oh, I didn't see the button. I think we got 150 odd prestige for that, which is fine by me. Every little helps. So we're going to go straight from that and go straight into a feast. As I'm sure you're aware, we can't actually do any hunts anymore as we are infirm, which is a big problem. Well, not a big problem. Don't want to be hysterical about it, but it's slightly annoying, put it that way. There's our feast at the end. We only gained 225 prestige, less than I would have liked. We're actually up to a legendary figure at this point, so that's something, I suppose. So I'm afraid I knew this day would come. Jarl Haesteinn has shed this mortal coil at the age of 97. If I'd been a bit more sensible, I could have got down to Sri Lanka with him, but I was a bit messy along the way. Could have definitely sped it up at different points, but it just didn't quite happen, unfortunately. But we were killed, if we look at this, by a frail man. That's a bit galling, I have to say. So here is the new Jarl. I won't try and say his name because that's going to trip me up. He's a very impressive young man, good martial, good well, at the worst average, I would say. So now that we're not infirm, we can actually get back to the business of collecting prestige. You can never get enough prestige, especially when you need 3,500. So we're going to get going, try and, now we're not a frail old man, we can now go and try and do it ourselves and see if we can actually get something done. So we're no longer 80 odd years old, but we still can't successfully do a hunt. So very embarrassing. We're meant to be some Viking warlord and we can't even catch a bloody hyena. So we are going to go ahead and have a quick funeral for Jarl Haesteinn. I think he deserves it. So I don't normally bother with funerals, but if anyone's deserved a funeral, it's certainly Jarl Haesteinn. So we're at the funeral and we're going to send off some grave goods with Jarl Haesteinn. And we actually have this hair of Muhammad that I didn't even realise we had because it's a court artifact. And as we're only a Jarl, we can't actually use it. But what we can do is we can send it off with Jarl Haesteinn and get a nice tidy 1,000 piety for something that I can't even use. So we would be a fool not to get rid of it. So something's just occurred to me that I'm sure there's a possibility you've been shouting at your screen if there's anybody watching, that is, and that is the reason it was costing us so much prestige to go on a Varangian adventure is that it accumulates, or each time you go on one, it becomes more expensive. Now that was a problem while we are Jarl Haesteinn and we are spending 3,500 each time, but this fella here, Jarl Aelfer with the crest. He has never been on a Varangian adventure, so we don't have to spend 3,500 as I was thinking. And there, just a tidy 500. So we're going to make our way down and establish ourselves in Sri Lanka. We'll take this little border bit. I think I'm going to take the opportunity to try and crush his army before he can meet up with his ally. Should be fairly straightforward. Stop telling me about poetry. It's not interesting. Oh, not poetry, a poetic friendship. The only problem we're going to have here is they've got very high fort levels, so everything is quite hard to siege down. But with any luck, once we've taken his capital, that might be enough. Depends if we capture anyone, I suppose. There we go. We sieged down that county there, and that was enough for the duchy we're about to take. And here you have it. Vikings in Sri Lanka. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have found ourselves in northern Sri Lanka, all the way down from Brittany. We've Varangian adventured our way from Spain to Italy to the Byzantine Empire to Egypt to Oman to northern India, finally down into Sri Lanka here, making our new home in these rich lands. If you've enjoyed this at all, please let me know. Please let me know if you've got anything you want to see me do. So yeah, drop a comment, drop a like if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe. I will see you in the near future. Goodbye.